So we've talked quite a bit about Diana this week, but now that it's official that she's going to be able to play, do you have any additional thoughts just on her return and just the significance of that, I guess?
Yeah, look, obviously, number one, I'm just excited that, she feels good enough she feels actually, she looked pretty good in practice, but it was always going to come down to how, what she thought was best for her. And, but look, she makes our team better. I mean, this is Diana Taurasi. It's, it gives us another playmaker. It gives us another leader. It can take pressure off, the other Sky and MBG a little bit. And it's, maybe it'll take a few games to get her legs back with her shooting and that, but she'll be able to help us in so many different ways. So, but look, it's not just on Diana. Now it's about us continue to grow as a team. And I had a great training this week, and we just got to, we've got to keep pushing and play with that sense of urgency. But Diana, obviously having her back is it's nice to have her out there, put it that way.
What we talked a little bit about the Sparks the other day, and they had that one in between game since you played them last. Is there anything in particular you took from that game that maybe was different from the two previous games?
Yeah, they've actually had two games in between, but last game they beat Washington, and Cooper really got going there, and she had 26 points. I mean, they had a few injuries, but they found a way to win. Look, obviously this is a really good defensive team, and it shows that with all the analytics that are out there, and I mean, they're very athletic, they're very aggressive. We just have to make sure our offensive execution is there. But look, if we can really execute the scout that we want, it's really a lot of isolations and a lot of just knowing player personnel, and if we get locked in there, and hopefully we can get out and run before their defense can get set. But this can be a really dangerous team if you allow them. They got a lot of obviously athletic guards, and they're great in a transition phase and in the one-on-one action, and obviously rebounding, which was an Achilles in one of our games. So we have to utmost respect, but obviously focusing on what we need to do to have the most success.
Andy, do you expect to have any type of minutes restriction on Diana at this point?
No, not really, Alex. They're not telling me, it's not like it's an ankle or a knee coming back, but I'll go by, her conditioning. I have to obviously try and be smart about not overplaying her. That's, I always say that, but, not putting too many long minutes together. She hasn't played for quite a long time. So hopefully we can continue to build that up over these next, I think, what have we got? We got, six games before the Olympic break, and, build that up again. But she's put a lot of hard work in, so I'll go by what she's saying as well.
And I guess, you've obviously expected Diana to be there. She hasn't been there. You have to play who you got. But do you think there maybe is a lot of players that are kind of your role players or your players coming off the bench who maybe can get a little more relaxed and feel a little more at ease knowing she's back? We don't need you to do as much as we've been asking you to do for this last month, really.
Yeah, I suppose not them. I think the role players, I think if anything, you can get out and win one of your best players away, they get an opportunity, obviously, to get more court time. And I think, obviously Sophie Cunningham did a good job. I thought Megan has played well for us. We're trying to get, we need Shay to get going a little bit more. I know that what she's capable of, but it helps when you have Diana Taurasi out there. So it does relieve a little bit of pressure in that regard. They can get, more comfortable in playing that position, because we were, needed another ball handler out there, to be quite honest. And, I think, everyone's just got to play their role. But, it helps just Diana's, if anyone, it allows Sky to get a little bit off the ball or have a little bit more of a rest, because we really had to, obviously she's been great, but really had to go with her a lot, and she did great, but I think it'd be great for her to get the ball as well a little bit.
We can kick it over to Danny Thompson with the 3-point conversion.
Sandy Danny Thompson with 3-point conversion. Great to see you as always. You kind of touched on what I was about to ask about Skylar. What have you learned about Skylar and her game with Diana being out over the last few games, and she's taking much more, not just a vocal role, but a major role on the floor? What have you learned about her, and how can that translate to what's going to happen with Diana back tomorrow?
Yeah, look, obviously, number one, I've been really, really proud of Sky. She's done all the work to come in and, at times she took us on her back, basically, and was being really aggressive. And she's probably her hardest critic, to be quite honest. But I think, we're asking her to guard the best defender and, obviously score and be aggressive down the other end. And that's not going to change with Diana. I really didn't learn anything new about Sky during this time because I just knew that she's got this great competitive nature. She has this great will to win. She's a really good point guard. But I think when you're putting a lot of pressure on, you can relieve her and have Diana there. I think that will even open her up a little bit so we can give her some rest. So I don't expect her to change how she is. She just won't have the ball in her hands as much. But obviously, they'll share the load there, but Diana will be the point guard. But when, obviously Diana won't be able to play every single minute. So Sky will get those opportunities because, as we've seen, she's really good with the ball in her hands and going downhill and creating stuff for us as well too. But that won't change whether she's the one or the two for us with the way that our offense is structured.
And you mentioned Diana returning. How do you make sure that Diana doesn't tell you that she's overplaying herself? Because you said that you're trying to manage her minutes, but you also want to make sure that she's okay. We all know how competitive Diana is. She'll play 40 minutes if she needs to. How do you rope her in and not make her let her go off too much in the first couple games back?
Yeah, good question. Look, Diana, like I said, she's this great will to win, and but we just have to be smart. I mean, that's what it comes down to, just being smart. But she's done a lot of hard work. I mean, it's not that she couldn't work out during this injury, particularly those last 2 to 3 weeks, really pushing herself. But it's a little different when you get on the court, so she might get winded. So it's more about just being mindful of that. And we don't want games to be close, but if they all have been lately, that we really need her to be really have that strength to finish off those games too. So if we can keep her around the 30-minute mark, I think that's a really realistic mark. And hopefully I can stay true to that because I don't always do, unfortunately, but I need to be better.
We'll go 2 final questions here. Next up, we have Ann-Margaret Stridesdale, followed by Alex Simon.
Sandy, with putting Diana back at the point guard and distributing the ball between Sky and DT, does she just become a facilitator, and how easy is it for her to get shots from the point guard position?
Yeah, look, obviously Diana can get shots, she knows. I mean, she understands the game better than anybody. We have plays in place, how they want to defend her and how we can get good looks. But it's not just with the ball in our hands, it's off-ball action as well. And we're talking about the greatest shooter of all time here. So, it's just making sure that we have good flow with what we want to do, that our defense is creating our offense. And, I would imagine Diana's going to get some, hopefully, good looks early. I'm sure they're going to be playing a physical in that, but, a little bit off ball if we need to. And just to, in transition, I mean, if we can get her some easy drag action, I think that's when she is at her best.
Thank you.
Our final question comes from Alex Simon.
Yeah, Sandy, just one quick follow with Diana coming back, with you guys going back to full capacity, obviously even having 8 days in between. I imagine as a head coach, you try not to get too excited for any individual regular season game, but it would seem like this would be kind of all the factors here. Are you pretty excited to get back out there tomorrow?
Yeah, look, I am. Like it's been a good week because we needed to tidy up some stuff and just get back to working hard and the little details, the 1%ers, which in some games we weren't quite where we needed to be. So that helps. It allows them to get, we gave them days off. We did go hard for 3 days, and now we've been tapering off to freshen them up again. But this, the players want to play. I mean, I'm no different. I think it was a great week for us, but I'm looking forward to see where we're at so we can keep building on what we need to get better at with these games going forward. So hopefully we have a great showing tomorrow. We bring the appropriate energy and the sense of urgency that we need to win games against any opponent. Obviously LA coming off a big win against Washington, and they're going to be coming in hungry. We know what to expect from it. It's not our first game against them. So we really just have to get locked in. But it is nice to having Diana back. It'd be really nice if we had Bria Hartley back, but that's not happening at the moment. But we've got the group that we have, and keeping everyone healthy, that would be the most important thing as we move forward.
All right, thanks for the time, Sandy.
Thanks, guys.